You lazy piece of shit.
More is not always more.
People get caught too much in working out just for the sake of working out.
That's a really good point. You're like, oh my God, I'm not 20 anymore.
Stop trying to do the most and try to do the least.
This is scientifically proven.
If you are a serious golfer, you want to level up your game.
We're no longer there. Welcome to the Lift Heavy, Swing Fast podcast.
Welcome everybody to the show today.
Here we are in 2025.
It is 2025.
We launched in 2025, but this is an actual recording in 2025.
Yeah, our first episode is launching in a few
minutes
actually.
Yeah.
But this will be like our first one recorded in 2025. So happy New Year.
Does it feel different?
Yeah, it feels way different. I definitely feel everyone feels motivated on the new year, right? Like you feel excited, like it's like fresh. It's a fresh start.
No.
Not that I needed one, but it's nice. There's a feeling.
We've talked about this. I don't feel it on the new year really as much as on my birthday, because that's everyone's personal new year is actually their birthday.
We've talked about this?
I've told you this, yeah, about how I feel about it. Yeah.
So instead of happy birthday, I should be saying happy new year to you on your birthday?
Yeah, actually we should. Let's do that. Yeah, if I were president, that's what I would want.
Well, thank God you're not president, but
Happy New Year.
Okay, so next year, October 27th,
but
be saying Happy New Year.
From a standpoint of like feeling fresh and feeling new, that's when, and it's fall. My birthday's in the fall, and I think it just feels like that's the time, getting back in action, back to school time.
So your birthday like makes you excited. You get excited for your
Yeah, like
birthday.
January 1st is like fine. I think like the New Year is a cool holiday. We talked about this last night, but they're certainly not when it's 0 degrees outside in winter and post-holiday do I feel like motivated more. Not for me. I get why people do, but I don't.
Interesting. I guess it's because I've been in the fitness industry for so long that I've been around other people that get excited on January 1st.
Yeah.
So I just have learned to get excited on January 1st, even though my birthday's January 6th. So I guess it's New Year's and like birthday for me. I could just call it the same day for me.
It's probably your birthday, to be honest. It's why you're feeling excited.
I'm
You really
not
get energy
excited
from
for my birthday.
like the New Year's resolution like vibe. That's
Yeah,
like really
I do
what
actually.
gives you energy.
Not that I like.
What an actual like. I don't know. We've never talked about this, but
Not that I set out to make like New Year's resolutions or anything, but I definitely like kind of get in the spirit of it.
Okay. Well, here we are in the new year. Happy
Absolutely.
2025 and happy birthday to Cody in a couple of days.
See that, but my birthday like is kind of whatever. I mean, I've had 38 of these things, or I'll be my 38th one, so it's kind of like, meh.
Okay, but 38 New Year's is different.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, all of this makes a lot of sense. I hope people listening share their feedback on this
They're
conversation.
like, man,
They're
Cody's not very smart.
No, but today we're talking about, this is an important topic actually, this in terms of like the time of year and talking about New Year's resolutions and motivation and all that stuff, is the minimum effective dose.
Yes, I love this topic actually.
Me too.
I think there's a lot of ways you can kind of talk about it, and I've posted about it before. And one thing I said once was, stop trying to do the most and try to do the least. And people like really like raged on me for that. They're like, oh, you lazy piece of shit. And it's like, that's not really what I'm trying to get at here. And like, that's not really what the minimum effective dose is. So I think it's a good topic.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. Well, let's define it a little bit. So when we're talking about minimum effective dose, we're talking about exercise and training.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about the fact that in the space of workouts and training and getting results, more is not always more. Those things are not linear.
Mm-hmm.
There are diminishing returns that exist. It is unlike a lot of things that we do in our life. You and I were just talking about this. You can work more hours and get paid more money if you're an hourly employee. You can work harder at work and get promoted and get paid more. You can, generally speaking, when you're working harder and working more and doing more, there's a return related to that.
Right.
When it comes to working out in your body and recovery and all the things that we're going to talk about, couldn't be further from the truth.
Correct. Yeah, more is not necessarily better. And in the topic we're talking about today, better is better.
Yes.
So
Yes.
That's definitely what we want to drive home for people.
Yeah, and we attract a lot of people. This is coming from, there's two camps of people. There's people that don't need the motivation on January 1st to go work out. They love the gym. They want to train. They want to hit it hard. They go 6-7 days a week. They do multiple times a day, whatever. There's like that camp of people. I think they're kind of the minority in general when it comes to the population, right? Because most people in the world, or in America at least, don't work out. But then there's the other people that, you know, we won't be speaking to the people that are already having a hard time going to the gym. Minimum effective dose is not necessarily going to be a topic that, or I should say, something that you're going to be struggling with. If you're struggling to get to the gym, minimum effective dose is you're probably already like just trying to hit that minimum effective dose, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about what that is. Because again, for those people, this is an important topic for you to understand, that it doesn't have to be, this is the whole all or nothing. It doesn't have to be 7 days a week. Doesn't have to be, I need to do my fucking 75 hard and check off 18 boxes every day, day in and day out. But we attract in our circle, I feel like, you know, we've got bodybuilder-ish people. We've got some CrossFitter-ish people. Like, I think it comes from you being in the fitness space on Instagram. And so like that attracts our majority of our audience, and those people are people that enjoy going to the gym or train hard.
Yeah,
is what I'm getting at.
Right. Yeah. But people that are kind of finding me on social media are probably already somewhat in the fitness world somehow. Right. Like they're not. We rarely have I came across. Actually, I don't think ever in. As far as I've been doing things on social media, I don't think I've ever had someone reach out and say, "Hey, I've never worked out a day in my life."
Right. And that's honestly the problem with social media in all, not just fitness, but like the algorithms just attract the bubbles that we all live in. And so, yeah, on one hand, it's great that we're reaching like fitness oriented people, but like in fitness, we want to help the people that need the help. And like you know, those people are just hard to reach. They're hard to reach because they're not being fed. They're not being fed the information that we're trying to give. But I don't know. I think you can lead it off as far as like, I mean, we've sort of defined what it is, but I guess like, how does someone find what their what are people struggling with the most around minimum effective dose, and how do you find what that is?
Well, really what it is, right, is how much can we do of something to get a result from it? Not like, I like to say like how little of something you can do to get a result from it, right? Like let's start there. What if I only work out once and I get a result from it? You are going to get more by doing twice, but maybe not as much more as you think if you go from twice to like 7 days a week. When you're just getting started, or if you are someone that's training a lot, just figuring out what you can do to get and really focus on the results from it. I think people get caught too much in working out just for the sake of working out, right? And not really taking a step back and seeing the results, because that's really what a minimum effective dose is about. What am I doing? What results am I getting from it? How much of it do I need to do to get the desired outcome I'm looking for?
Yeah, and for people that are just box checkers, which again, there are those people too. If you're just out there and you want to move your body every day, this conversation just truly might not even be for you. If your goal is to just get up and move on a regular basis, cool. But we work with a ton of people, and most people that come to us and most people that slide into your DMs are wanting results, struggling with getting results, struggling with staying consistent, feeling sore, getting injured. Like there's a lot of things that are happening for people. And I think a lot of it is a result of thinking they need to do more, thinking they have to train every day, training way too much and overtraining, hurting themselves, which means they're never recovering, which means, so it's like this kind of ricochet effect that's happening because we're doing the most. And that's what we mean. It's like the bell curve. If anyone is like a visual learner, that's really what we're talking about here.
Right.
There's the beginning of the bell curve that's like pretty low results. There's the middle. That's where you're peaking at results. And then if you keep doing more, as the bell curve continues, it goes way back down.
Right.
So we have to find like where that little sweet spot is at the top.
Exactly. I was listening to, and I think you listened to him as well, Dr. Mike Israetel.
Yeah, I like Mike Israetel.
Yeah, he's good. I feel like he kind of recently just did like a big podcast tour. He was on tons of podcasts.
He's been for like a little bit. He's been like, I don't know what he's about to sell everybody, but he's like, he's whatever. Coming. He's super smart.
He's great. But he was on someone's podcast, and like that's why I just wanted to preface it with that, because I can't remember which one he was on, because I've listened to several that he's been on. It might have been Diary of a CEO. But he was on there and he was talking about how many times a week someone should work out. And I probably was Dire CEO because Steven kind of sits there and he plays a very like, like a listener that doesn't know what they're talking about kind of role.
Yeah, that might have been the one that I
in his
took.
podcast.
I kind of tune him out anymore.
Yeah, so I bet it was his because he was talking about, if I don't know what to do, how many times a week should I work out? And Dr. Mike was like, so once is okay. He was like, but 2 and 3 is where a lot of people are going to see a ton of results. And then he basically said, when you jump from 3 to 4 to 5 or something like that, he's like you're going to get more results, but not quite the bang for your buck that you get when it goes from like 2 to 3. So like from 1 results, but not a ton. Really good results with 2. Probably the best around 3. That's why when I program in my workouts, it's usually 3 like main workouts, and I throw in a couple of like mobility or a cardio or a conditioning session or something like that, because that's really kind of like the sweet spot and he's like the muscle scientist type guy. So like that's really like the kind of the sweet spot that you're looking for.
Well, that's what I want to say. I'm going to interrupt real quick, but like this is scientifically proven, and he's a studies guy.
Right.
And there's 2 studies that I want to mention. One is related to like how often you have to train to maintain your muscle. Mm-hmm. And he recently quoted this, still speaking on Mike Israetel. It's like strength training once every 2 weeks to maintain. Now, I'm not speaking to the people that are trying to build and like, but to maintain is once every 2 weeks, once every 14 days of strength training. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. That's real. And then the other study, like for people that are out there that are like step counters, I think this one's like a little bit more widely known, but the studies do show, I think it's somewhere between like 7,000 or 7,500 and 8,000 steps a day. Like that's where like the biggest bang for your buck as far as like going from 0 to 8,000. But like after that, it's like, the whole 10,000 or 12,000 or people like I've worked with clients, and they're like obsessed with getting like 16, 17,000 steps a day, literally. Mm-hmm. Just like,
wow.
And again, I'm not saying that like walking 10 miles a day is a bad thing, but like you're just the health benefit isn't really quite there. Mm-hmm. You're probably just stressing yourself out, tracking that many fucking steps, taking a lot of time out of your day, starving because you're like doing so many steps, or you get to the point where you can't even maintain your body weight without getting that many steps per day, which is a problem for another episode. But anyway, like these are things that have been studied as far as like muscle retention and all of that stuff. And I think that it's important to know that we're not just talking from our ass. It's just like there have been studies on this.
So there's that. And I've seen it, I've seen prime examples of it with people that I've worked with. So I worked with these 2 guys in person. And then after I left the gym that I was at with them, it was remote. And, their dads, early 40s, didn't have time to work out, 3, 4, or 5 hours a week. They have kids, they have responsibilities, they have to go to work, they have all these things they have to take care of. So they were like, hey man, we got 2 hours a week, and they came to me first as golf clients, right? Like they found me it was at a country club I was working at, and I was training them to, be very golf quote unquote specific workouts. But then they just kept getting obsessed. They became obsessed with lifting heavy weights. I think they even called me a year later. They wanted to do a powerlifting competition. Yeah, so it's like,
I remember this.
Yeah, so like they just became obsessed with lifting weights. And these guys, these guys got just obsessed with lifting heavy, powerlifting competition. They got up to like, and these weren't, high level athletes. I think they did play some sports like in high school and maybe college, but again, they're in their early 40s, so it'd been a while. And they hadn't worked out a lot years previously. And these guys were getting up to like 500-pound back squats. I mean, some people just kind of have that, like, just natural ability to do things.
Yes.
And so these guys had it, like 500-pound deadlifts, 400-pound something squats. I mean, I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was very high. These guys got super strong twice a week.
Yep.
And I think what gets pretty interesting is that some people kind of look at it and think, man, if I can't do, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7, however many, some, crazy amount of workouts, that they're not going to get any results. So they almost just say, well, I'm just not going to do it at all. The all or nothing, right?
Right. And those are the people that are out there that are listening that struggle to stay consistent, because once they jump off the wagon and it's been 2 days, or they get sick and you're out for a week, like we all know that just sucks. Like it mentally sucks. Like you feel like shit. You're feeling slow. You're feeling tired. You're whatever. They write off the whole month or year or whatever for that, and then they think, oh well, like nothing like none of those workouts matter if I can do only 15 minutes once a week, or I had to skip my workouts for 2 weeks. That didn't matter. It's like, no, just get back. Keep going. The next time that you have the opportunity to get back into the gym, do it, because more than likely you set yourself up for failure because you thought you had to go 5, 6, 7 days a week, or you thought that if you missed even a whole week that you were shit out of luck, or that you're not going to get any results. But it's like learning to just start, or learning to start is one for sure. But learning that when you get knocked down or when things get kind of shitty, to just, as soon as you're available and able, to start up again.
Get back at it.
And get back at it.
Yeah. And I mean, so kind of we were talking about at the beginning, what kind of people that may be listening to us right now, or the type of people that my social media attracts. So maybe these aren't the people that haven't worked out, ever. But let's say that, if you're someone that hasn't worked out in a while, and you came from doing something that was like 5 days a week, or maybe you even did last year, you did like the 75 hard, which is what, 2 workouts a day for 75 days or something? 2 activities a day.
It's like an indoor and outdoor. Like you do a workout inside and then a workout outside or something like that.
So maybe you're someone that's coming from something, or maybe, whatever it is that you were doing, and you were doing a lot of exercise and you've never actually tried to only work out a couple of days a week. That's kind of like where the minimum effective dose can be very beneficial for you, is when you just take a step back and just work out a little, a couple days a week. And that may just barely fit your schedule. You may be a busy person. Like 2-3 days a week is, like we just talked about, it's plenty. Try it out and like give yourself some like measurable results, because I seriously think people spend too much time just focusing on the workout itself and not focusing on the results.
Yeah.
I truly think that's the thing. All they care about is like what I did in the workout, how much weight I lifted, all this kind of stuff. And that's actually one of the reasons why I love training golfers so much, is because most golfers don't, the ones that are really serious about golf, again, I think we kind of attract people that are also very interested in exercise itself, and they care about like lifting and stuff like that, and they find joy in it, which is great, because obviously we do as well. But when you train a golfer and they can immediately go to the range, or they can go play and they can see their swing on camera, or they see their ball speed, they see their club speed, the swing just feels better, they don't have pain. There's so many ways they can measure results, and that's what makes my life a lot easier, and what brings a lot more joy to people, is they can see the actual results instead of just focusing on, oh, that was another badass grueling workout, I'm so sore, this and that. Like, to get like the minimum effective dose, like you may not actually be sore. You might be a little sore, and maybe you won't be sore at all, and you're going to get a benefit from it. And then you can actually see that result, and that's so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we drove this home in the recent episode, maybe the second one that we in season 2, that just a couple weeks ago. But the magic happens on the rest day.
100%.
And that's what this is basically all about. Your body is not recovering during a workout or building muscle during a workout. It's breaking it down, and so you're not allowing for that process to happen if you're not getting badass adequate sleep regularly and taking recovery days.
Right.
And they can be active recovery days. We've talked a little bit about this too. We're all about like walking and moving every day, taking a gentle hike, doing gentle yoga. Notice like the term gentle, because those things can also be very rigorous. But it's like, it's so important for your body to have that time off, especially if we're speaking to people that aren't 18 anymore. Like, I think that's something too that is in our head. The next thing we know, when you're 40, 45, you're like, oh my God, I'm not 20 anymore. It kind of goes by really quickly, and we compare. It's so easy to compare, because we can all look back and be like, well, when I was skinny and fit and playing sports in high school, and it's like, okay, well, like we're no longer there.
Right.
We are no longer in that part of life. The things that you ate in high school, our metabolisms were so incredibly different. We were also doing like 2 a day, like field hockey practice, like just can't compare to like having a completely different life now that you have a family and kids and jobs, or multiple jobs and all the things. So it's like, get out of that headspace, focus on what you want your results to be. And if you've been in the same place for a long time doing the same shit, it's time to do something else different.
Right. Yeah. And I just want to kind of drive home a point for golfers too. Like, think about it this way. If you are a serious golfer, and this year you want to level up your game, the gym supports that tremendously, but it's not the end all be all, right? You have to go grab a golf club and hit golf balls with it. And experimenting with the minimum effective dose, like how little can I be in the gym for a workout? So maybe this isn't just days of a week, maybe it's shorter workouts, right? Like I give people
Yeah, I like that.
I give people the options in Lift Heavy Swing Fast. Like, hey, you can do 2 to 4 sets of this, right? If you pick 2, that's half, right? That's
Yeah.
a lot less work. And if you always just opt for like the high number, like try the low one out. See if you can just work out a little bit less, and then go hit golf balls. You're going to have less fatigue in your body, so your practice is going to be better. It's going to support your practice even more, and you're going to see those results on the course. And then just find some things to measure your results from, and if it didn't work, then maybe you need to do a little more, or maybe you need to hit it just a little bit harder. It may not be jumping up to the 4 sets. Maybe it's 3. Maybe that's your kind of sweet spot where you're going to get some results. Maybe that's the intensity you're looking for to get the results. And then as you build, you can make that intensity a little bit higher. That's like, the minimum effective dose has to do with, it kind of comes from how we medicate ourselves, right? Like you don't just, like a doctor, if they're prescribing you something, doesn't just hammer you with like the heaviest dose of something possible, right? They give you a little bit to see if it works. If it doesn't, what do? You call them, they say, okay, we'll do a little bit more.
Titrate it up a little bit. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Titrate. That's a good word. So like here's a little bit more of this. Now, because they don't just want to, it's diminishing returns if they give you too much, right? Like if a doctor gives you too much medicine, you could like literally overdose. And they don't do that.
Side effects though.
There's big side effects, right?
Yeah.
So like, we don't need, and you can minimize those side effects if you just kind of focus on the lower dose of the exercise. If it doesn't work for you, it's not the end of the world. You can do more next time.
Yeah, I want to talk more about, I want to piggyback off that. And talking about keeping your individual workouts intensity moderated. I'm just going to say moderated, like just paying attention to it a little bit more. It's about the quality of your workouts too. And so if you're doing, let's just make it a math equation, even though quality is of course qualitative, like you can't really put a number on it, but let's just say you did 6 workouts a week. All of them were rated 1 because you're just burnt out. You're sleeping 5 hours a week. You're just checking the box. You're doing the bullshit workouts. It's a 1. So 6 times 1 is 6. Okay, quick, easy math. Let's do 3 workouts. Let's basically cut that in half. 3 workouts a week. All of those were rated a 5. Well, 3 times 5, 15. Those are different numbers, like the 15 versus 6.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're talking about here. I'm just like, that's how my brain works. So it's like,
I like that.
That is what we're trying to drive home. And I think another thing that's for people that maybe that's not hitting for them is understanding that 6 days a week is a hard thing to sustain. And there are going to be things that come up. And I think like I've learned a lot of that this past year from my own training personally and like doing this stuff too. And like going through seasons certainly of literally training twice a week, like this past year during certain weeks, or doing like 2.5 workouts or whatever, like in a week, it's a lot easy to be flexible with yourself when shit comes up, when you're traveling, when your kids get sick, when work gets really busy and you just don't feel like training, when you have a bad night of sleep, to not put so much fucking pressure on yourself to hit the gym and be like, oh, I need a rest day anyway. Like I only want to train 2 to 3 times this week. So I've got that already baked into my schedule. Cool. Long weekend away. Can't train for 4 days. Cool. I'll train before I leave and I'll come back and train after. And that's consistently going to happen you get sick, like whatever, like those things are just going to, because we are real life human beings, these things are going to happen. And you have so much just more flexibility, which is also less stressful mentally to like have to keep up with. And then when you're adhering to your 2 to 3 times a week, you're building confidence in yourself. And not just confidence, but you're telling yourself you're keeping the promises that you're telling yourself. And that feels really fucking good. So you keep going because you're like, oh, okay, this works for me. Then if you're feeling like really sprightly and you want to add on that 4th day, like good for you. Like you can build onto that if you feel like it. But again, like when you can come up with a formula that works for you, that's sustainable, and you're getting results and you're recovering better and you're sleeping better, like good on you, because that's the goal.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I have another couple points that kind of came up, so I'm going to piggyback off of you a little bit, and maybe this will kind of like speak to your accounting brain. When I used to be a group fitness coach, right, you would see people that would come in 5 days a week, maybe actually they probably came in almost every day.
Like every day.
At some point. And you kind of, when you go hang out with them and talk to them, one of the things people will say is, well, I had this unlimited membership, so I need to get my money's worth.
Yeah.
I think this one's interesting. And so maybe you're buying a program, maybe it's like mine where I do put in like 5 workouts a week. Granted, there's 3 main ones, 1 mobility, 1 conditioning. I don't even expect people to do all of them. And I don't think you have to, because I don't do all of them personally. I put them in there for people that like to work out a lot. Because there are some people that like just working out more than they like playing golf. It's kind of like, I play golf every once in a while, but I like to work out. So that's kind of like what that's for. But I think there is where people, and maybe is it sunk cost or what I'm going to let you explain that. But like, think less about, you actually get more value out of something if you get better results from it. Just because you have an unlimited membership doesn't mean you need to go every day. You're actually going to get more value if you went maybe 3-4 days a week instead of 7.
It's not really sunk cost. They're just thinking about it like cost per workout or
cost
something.
Per workout.
Like
there we go.
That's all it is. But yeah,
Kinda. I mean, yeah. Like
how much? What is the there's dollar amount, and then there's like the actual value of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the value you're getting of this?
Yeah.
So think about that too. Like it's not just all just because it's there and I've paid for it, I have to use it.
No, that's a really good point. And it could be a kind of almost like a weird side effect. There's a lot of weird side effects of Group X. There's a lot of great things about it. We kind of already talked about yoga, which like some of the pros and cons. If you haven't listened to our episode about yoga, it was a really good one because I just edited it.
I think it might have been our best one ever.
But like Group X, again, has a lot of really cool things, but there's some weird side effects. And that truly is like one of them, or it's like you want to go see your friends, you want to show up, you want to make the most. A lot of it is make the most of your $2.99 a month that you're paying for your unlimited whatever group membership, but not necessarily a great one in that regard. If it means that you're just like waking yourself up to like go kick your own ass every day and not get any actual health benefits or results,
maybe negative health benefits at some point because you're just beating yourself to death.
Yes.
And you're at bad sleep and et cetera, et cetera. But
yes.
Yeah, so that's something that people just got to take a step back and see like, what is this really doing for me?
Yeah. And like, if you're following a program, if you're following one of our programs, like follow the program, but like do what Cody said too. And like, look at the sets as if it's programmed within a range, which a lot of times it is, like, can you be going on the lower side? Can you be taking that extra day off? Can you just be focusing on the 3 main workouts? Like, and if you're following another fucking program, hopefully they have rest built in. I guess I can't speak for other programs, but like follow the fucking program. Don't think that it's not a good program because you're not seeing results. Like you don't need to add in your accessories. You don't need to go add in 3 group classes on top of like your program in the gym. Like do the thing. There's a reason why we program the way that we do. It's because it works.
Exactly. And if you're a golfer, you have even more things to look at. If you just care about like how your body composition looks, like then go like actually measure some stuff on yourself and stop putting so much into just the workout itself. Let's see the results.
Yes.
Focus on those. Unless you are seriously just someone like doing high rocks or crazy Spartan races where the result is more exercise. To an extent.
Just straight up volume and putting up with pain for sure.
Yeah, that's different. This isn't for you, and I don't think those people do our workouts right now. Erika and I have done those workouts or have done those events before. There's nothing wrong with them, but just golf is a different breed of what we're doing.
So is building a good physique.
Correct.
Honestly,
absolutely.
So people need to understand that too. So this hopefully was helpful. I'm excited for this to come out in 2025, actually, because this is like a thing that people don't talk about enough.
Well, I think when this comes out, right, like this is our 5th episode of season 2. It'll be February at some point, I guess, or maybe
late January, early Feb, when people are starting to
when people are starting to kind of wean off of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like if you just jump right in 5 days a week, you don't know if 2 days a week would have worked for you because you didn't try it, or 3 days is what we kind of determined is the best, but.
Trust us. Get out there and give it a try. Give yourself 2 weeks. Not that big of a deal. We promise nothing bad's going to happen. Get out there and do it.
You can always do more if you need to.
That's right.
So try it.
All right. Well, with that is the end of this episode. You can find everything you need as far as free workouts, free downloads, our blog, our YouTube on liftheavyswingfast.com. Until next time.
Thanks, guys.